Hi there, welcome back to the Second Chance Garden. So I have here is my mini phal. I've done a video before about the new bloom spike, and as you can see this here, it's still there and it's developing. So I wanted to show you where it's at, and also I am attempting to repot this orchid. So there are two things going. Number one, the timing. It might not be the most optimal timing for me to be repotting this orchid, but it's been really bothering me that it's in this state, and since it's trying to put out some flowers, maybe I take a risk and repot this orchid. Number two, since this is my first orchid, I've really never done any orchid repotting, and I've watched actually enough videos about this to prep myself, but I'm not sure how this is going to roll out. So it's exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. So let's just show you first where the bloom spike is at. So compared to the last time, the buds are getting a lot bigger, especially these first two buds. They almost look like they're about to open. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Here we go. It's a lot easier to see, right? So the first two buds here and right here, these are about to open, and it looks like I think this spike is going to put out 8 buds, flowers total. So it looks like. So I'm really excited about this. The spike looks pretty shiny, so are buds, and yeah, it's doing very well. So I still have this stake put up with a tiny orchid clip, still trying to kind of push this stem right here to the left hand side so that it's not completely under this leaf. And I think I explained that to you before. Here's the old spike right here. This wasn't in the way before, but the new one sort of came out right underneath this leaf. So I'm just trying to push it to the left hand side. But again, overall it's looking very good. And here is the state of the pot. I think this sphagnum moss that came with this plant is decaying really fast, and the roots are okay. They're green, not really bad looking, but there's some spots like this one right here. Here we go. This one right here. It's, to me, looks a little bit like rotting, which we all wanted to avoid. And this one right here, I don't know if it glares too much, you might not be able to see this right here. It's a little brownish spot there. So I don't think it's in a good state. And also the cup is too flimsy and too small, even for a miniature orchid, I think. So, but I kept it in this container for this long because I wasn't able to find a replacement cup, which is a little bigger than this, but small enough so that it doesn't look odd by repotting into that new container. So I kind of looked around, and finally I found a cup that might be okay. I'm not completely liking this, but for now I don't really have a choice. So here is the cup that I have. This is a plastic cup, just a regular plastic cup, drinking cup that you can buy very cheaply. And these black spots that you're seeing, I have made drainage holes at the bottom. That's why they look like this. Not the most good looking treatment here, but knowing this type of plastic, I know it's kind of brittle. so I did not want to drill hole them. So I used a metal rod, heated it, and made some holes at the bottom. I'm hoping that this part down here won't really getting direct contact with the roots, and I have a plan for it. So I'm hoping for, say, like next 2-3 months, this orchid is going to be okay in this container. Since it looks so ugly, I may have to find another pot that can cover this, but that's going to be another challenge. I mean, I couldn't even find this clear cup for the right size to begin with, so I'm not really sure how this is going to go. But anyway, I have all my things all set up, so let me just show you what I have here before I start to take this pot apart. So let me put this on the side, and so here is the container, and I have some sphagnum moss, new one. I cut up in smaller pieces so it's easier to handle. The biggest mistake, I've never dealt with this before, so the biggest mistake that I made was to soak this in lukewarm water. The reason why I did that is to sort of speed up the process of this sphagnum moss soaking up water, but it smelled a little funny. It almost reminded me of wet dog smell, so I don't recommend it. It soaked up water pretty quickly, but I get the feeling that even if you use the cold water, it probably did the same thing. So I don't suggest you use lukewarm water to soak this moss. Okay, so I also have a bit of a perlite. The perlite is going to aerate the entire mixture because the sphagnum is pretty dense and constantly wet. So I do want to use a little bit of perlite here. I also have a little bit of peat moss. This is too wet right now. I just wanted to wet this first so that I don't have to wait for it. I just wanted to mix just a little bit of it. I don't deal with peat moss either. Normally I don't use this for my other house plants. So I don't know how this is going to go. It's a little acidic, so I don't like to use this for other plants. But I just wanted to mix a little bit of peat moss in because orchids, some of them anyway, likes a little acidic soil. So just a little bit though, as you can see. So I have this here, and I also have clay bees. Clay bees are for, well, just because I have tons of them, I just wanted to use these for drainage. And also, not just for drainage, I wanted to use these at the bottom so that the roots won't get it in like a direct contact with these holes. I'm a little worried about this. So I wanted to lay these first at the bottom. So before I get this container situated, I just wanted to take this orchid from its older container. See how it goes. I'm not really sure how easy it's going to be. I'm just going to push everything else aside. And let's just take a look at this. So this goes on the side as well. And I have a plate here, so I'm just going to place it right in the middle. And whoops. Yeah, I have to be very easy. Okay, so I'm going to take the stake and the clip out gently, slowly, so that they don't get it in the way. I have not watered this orchid for a few days, so I'm hoping that pulling this out won't be too hard. Well, we shall see. Just wanted to hold on to the bottom of this orchid and sort of push the bottom a little to take this out. I may struggle a little bit. Whoa! I guess not. Okay, so as you can see, this really isn't an ideal container. So I'm glad that it came out rather easily. Now the challenge is probably to get rid of these old sphagnum moss and loosen it up without ruining some roots. I might ended up ruining some of the roots, but as long as I keep a few good ones, it should still be okay. The aerial roots are looking pretty healthy, and I intend to stay away from these as much as possible. And obviously this may take a while, so I may just pause the video and come back to this later. I mean, it's coming off for sure, but since I can't see what's inside of this thing, I don't know if there are more roots inside or just pretty packed sphagnum moss. I do not know, so I can't really speed up this process. I do want it to go easy on this, but look how, let me just close in on this. So most of the roots are so flattened. I'm not even sure if they're supposed to look like this. It's pretty flat on this side. I bet it just didn't have anywhere to go, so it became pretty flat here. And I do not know if this is ideal. It doesn't, they don't look comfortable for sure. Here we go. Okay, so it's coming off nicely. But I'm going to continue working on taking this old sphagnum moss apart and away from these roots, and I will be back. Okay, so I got most of old sphagnum moss out. It looks like that is the only thing that was in the pot, nothing else. Here is all we have from the old pot, and nothing but sphagnum moss. And it was rather easy to pull all these out, so I'm relieved about this. And let's just take a close look at the root system. Plenty of roots for sure. They're looking okay, but a couple of them are questionable. For example, this one right here is, I don't know if you can see this, right here, dangling a bit. Right here, it's, you see, barely intact. So I'm going to cut this. It's not going to do much good, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to cut it right here. Okay, so the color is not very good, so it's good to get rid of this. Another one, the dark spot that we saw earlier outside of the pot, before I took this out from the pot, this is also, yeah, it was rotting away, so it's good to just cut this part out too. Just cut here. Maybe I can cut even more so that we don't leave anything that's rotting into the new pot. Let me see more. Okay, so here I also see some browning spot right there. I think I'm going to cut this as well. Here we go. And this tiny bit here. This part here, I'm also going to cut this. Maybe this base was really not a good part here. All dark and brownish. Let's get rid of this. Right. But for now, I'm going to keep all other roots until, well, this bit, I think one more part that I'm going to cut, this end bit. This part, the tip of it is very dry and light brown. It's not going to do anything good, so I'm just going to cut it right here. I think that's about it though. So here it is. Yeah, roots are all squashed and they're all deformed, so I know this is not a good thing to just keep them the way they are. I'm going to put this orchid aside so that I can start on my new mixture for the container. Okay, so let's just put things aside, make some room. Alright, so here is the base cup. And as I said, I'm going to put some clay beads inside. I don't want to put too much, just to cover the bottom for the better drainage. So I think this would do, so I don't need all of these. Then, so I will put this aside. I'm going to bring an empty container here just to mix all of the stuff that I have. So first thing first, I wanted to put some sphagnum moss, but I wanted to drain some of the moisture. I don't need all of it, so I'm just going to squeeze it out so it's not going to be too wet to manage. There. And I wonder, I think this is all I need. I don't need all of the sphagnum moss that I prepared, so I'm just going to start with this. So I'll put this one aside for the time being. Yeah, this might be just enough. And I'm going to sprinkle in some perlite. I didn't really measure this or anything. I'm just going to sprinkle some and see how it goes. See if it's airy enough or I should mix more. This perlite is pretty fine, small beads to me, so I may need a little bit more to make sure that the good air circulation will happen in the pot. Just wanted to do a good mix. The sphagnum moss still smells like a wet dog, and maybe that's just the way it is. I'm not sure. I've never handled this before. As I'm mixing it, I'm still smelling it. It's not great. Okay, just have to probably get over it. All right, I wonder if this is good enough. Oh, what the heck, I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I'm just not too sure about this, and I want the good air circulation since most of the roots that I'm seeing here are not so great looking. I'm glad that I took it out, really. They don't look all that great. The roots are, I mean. Okay, so I think I mixed this. The perlite tend to go to the bottom of this container, so when I put this mixture into a new container, I'm just going to sort of mix it again. That's all I can do. And a little bit of peat moss. So this peat moss, right now it looks like a kind of like a black pudding. It's really wet. So I'm going to drain excess water by just pressing against the side of this container and put it in. I don't know how much I wanted to use. I'm just gonna start from 2 scoops and see how I feel. So by any means, I'm not suggesting this is the way to go about it. I'm not an expert in this area at all, so I am just showing to you what I decided to do, and you get to see how this is going to all turn out. It might not turn out great, or it might. Okay, I think I wanted to mix in a little bit more peat moss, just to hold everything together a little bit. There, maybe that's about it. And I get the feeling that I don't even need all of this stuff. That's okay. Oh, by the way, I don't have any orchid barks available at the moment, so I'm not going to use any of that, but I hope that's not going to be too much of a problem. So I think everything is pretty mixed in okay, so I'm just going to start filling this container out from the bottom. Just a little bit. Not to fill it all the way to the top because I still have to stick my orchid in. And I haven't really decided on exactly how to do that. I'm just trying to push some of the media aside. And I'm just gonna have to play by ear a little. First thing first, I do want to get the aerial root away. So the aerial roots are these three. I counted it to make sure that I don't put any of these inside. So I have 1, 2, 3, all close to this the flower spike. So it's kind of easy to remember. And most of the roots, not aerial roots, but real roots, were kind of in the spiral format, so it looks like it's fitting quite nicely just like that. And I think I'm going to fill the gap with the mixture that I just made. I'm hoping that's enough. So without really pressing it too hard, I just wanted to make sure that there's no massive gap in between the roots. Okay, so feels to me the pot is pretty packed all right, and the orchid is right in the middle of this container. I still really don't like this container, but I really don't know what else to do. For now, this has to do. Okay, I don't know if I can put a little bit more in here. I'm going to top this with additional sphagnum moss to avoid perlite, these white dots, perlite on top, from flying around all over the place. They're so light, they go all over the place. So let's see, let's get the moss back in here. And I'm going to squeeze out excess moist. And I don't know if I'm going to completely cover this, but I just wanted to put some on top. Like so. Just like a ground covering. Use it as topsoil. Okay, just a little bit more on this side, and that should do. How about that? Okay, and I'm going to put the stake back in gently to again put the spike in place. So here it is. I'm going to put it closer here. Gradually, slowly. Okay. I don't think I hit any roots, luckily. And here is the clip right here. I'm going to push the stem a little. And clip it from the bottom. There you go. Right, so it's the stake's holding it towards the left still a little bit. And voila! Here we go. I will keep you updated on how this goes and if the bloom spike will still be okay and all the flowers will be blooming soon. So I'm really sad to report to you that there was a casualty during my mini phal orchid repotting video. I did lose a flower bud, and in fact it was the best one, the biggest one. Maybe it was so big that it was in my way and I didn't even know that I lost it until I was done with the video. So here it is, right here. It's gone. However, I managed to save the rest of the buds, so I'm just gonna have to move on, unfortunately. And it's really disappointing. And I certainly learned a lesson. Do not repot while there's a new spike going. So I'm going to leave this orchid alone as much as possible until I see all the flowers bloom. Then I might think about, repotting it again or looking for a better container, all that stuff. But I'm not really going to do anything to it for next 2 to 3 months for sure. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please look out for my updates for my mini phal.